My name is Steve Reeves and I'll be your host. Our topic tonight is multimedia. It ought to be a great show. We've got two great guests and we got all kinds of great things to look at. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Portions of this show have been made possible by PC People, Houston's user-friendly source for business software, serving the business and academic communities. Call PC People at 789-6300 and talk to our dedicated staff when you're looking for intelligent answers to your software needs. And by Total CAD Systems, specializing in the sales, service, and support of CAD software and hardware for the PC, Macintosh, and Sun. Total CAD Systems is an authorized dealer for AutoCAD, the leader in computer-aided design software. Call 721-CADD. And by GDT Reprographic Services. Providing documentation to the professional design industry using advanced technologies and personalized service. GDT, where you're more than a number. Call for free pickup and delivery.
Some people who start forest fires never even set foot in the forest.
Making a can from recycled aluminum instead of from raw materials reduces air pollution by 95%. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show, and my name is Steve Reeves, and I'll be your host. Like I said before, the topic tonight, or our show, the title is Multimedia. We've got all kinds of great things here to look at, but there's a few things I want to talk about. Today is Thursday, March 4th. This is a live show, and we'll be taking phone calls. The phone number is 861-6283. 861-6283. We'll show that a couple of times on the screen there. The one thing I'm going to ask is we've got lots of things to show, all kinds of information, so I want to ask everyone if they can right now, when you call in, try to keep it to one question if you can. I know that's tough for a lot of people. A lot of people have 10,000 questions, but try to keep it to one question having to do with multimedia tonight. All right? A couple of things I want to take care of. I always talk about this at the beginning of the show is, don't forget this is, like I said, a live show, but we also have a hotline. Every week I have to look down here to see what the phone, I can never remember this phone number for some reason. It's 587-5369, and you can leave message on there what you'd like to see in future shows, what you like, dislike about the show. There's a little slide that came up on the screen there. And, you know, you can just, that's pretty much how we find out about what we're going to do in future shows. Besides, we have these big meetings once a month. We talk about what's all the new fun stuff that's coming out. And I guess that's all we need to talk about right now. We decided to do this show on multimedia for a couple of reasons, actually for several reasons. One is it seems to be the new hot computing kind of area there is, and everybody wants to know more information about it, so here we are. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of multimedia presentations and things. The second thing is it's great fun, and you know I like to do fun shows, so here is, that's why we're here also. And the third thing is because we're lucky enough to have two multimedia experts living in Houston, and they just happen to be on this show tonight. And we have two of them. That's L.J. Skibby and Bob Kennan, and they're both from, I'm going to get the name right here, Vision Integration here in Houston. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. We appreciate being here.
Hey, no problem. Why don't we begin a little bit? I'll give you 15 seconds. No, I'll let you talk as long as you want, actually. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, a little bit about both of you, and you know, a little history of what's going on. Why don't we start with you, LJ?
Well, I'm L.J. Skibby, and I am the Senior Vice President of Vision Integration. And to give you a little background on my history, I used to be with Compaq Computer Corporation. I was there for 8 years. And what I used to do is run the multimedia lab at Compaq, as well as set up the multimedia technology team. And from there, we used to study all this technology and how to apply it to the PC platform. I left Compaq at the end of '92 to start Vision Integration, and we formed that company in December. We feel this company has got a great possibility for starting out here because multimedia is so new and so very, very exciting. The company has been formed with a lot of leading experts in the area of multimedia. Vision integration is focused on doing CD-ROM development. We have a application here we did for President Bush. We do a lot of interactive training, presentation systems, animation. We're also into groupware technologies as well. The company is relatively new. We've got a lot of clients already. One of our advisors happens to be Rod Canyon, the ex-CEO of Compaq. And we're just really looking forward to the future of all this technology.
Great.
So.
That's great. That was pretty good. Do you have anything to say? Do you want to this?
Well, my partner,
Bob Kennan.
Oh, I'm Bob Kennan. My partner Debbie Richards and I have had a company here in Houston for a while called Animatrix, and we've been concentrating on kind of the interface between graphic artists and animators in the computer. And what we've done is this was a natural fit for what they were doing. It's kind of enveloping what our company did, so we've been absorbed into that company. And I'm going to be in charge of creative services, and Debbie's taking over the training functions. So
Good.
We're just making that part of vision integration.
But your job tonight is to make all this run, right?
Yeah.
Great. Oh, by the way, the one thing I do want to say is you won't believe what was happening here until about 5 seconds before the show went on. We have more computers here than I've, it looks like a computer land or something. There's all kinds of cables running all over the place, and monitors and speakers. We have, I think, what, three sets of speakers, soundboards, and all these computers. Everything's running all over. So if we have any problems, just everything will work out. All right. We've got all kinds of things running. It was jam-packed with all kinds of things here. Okay. First thing we ought to start off with is the big question. What is multimedia? That's probably what everybody wants to know.
Well, what is it? Well, it's one of those terms in the industry that people talk about quite a bit. And we have a little presentation here we'd like to show you. Just hit show. Click.
I am.
Just single click.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
It's not showing.
Okay.
See, it was one of our first glitches.
We have just a small problem here, but it's no problem. You want to?
You click?
We're going to click here.
Oh,
and
well,
then
fine.
Okay.
Let's just select the file.
It was user error. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Well, basically, multimedia is the technology to create, deliver, and interact with information in any form. And that includes text and numbers, color, sounds, pictures, music, speech, animations, you name it. If you start to think about multimedia and the way we've communicated from in the past, we've always interacted with the computer through text, through word processors, and through numbers, through spreadsheets. And now we can interact with the computer by adding in graphics, audio, video, and animation. And it's part of the PC communication continuum. We kind of feel that multimedia is an opportunity to motivate, educate, entertain, as well as empower users with new technology. We feel that this is a great way to bring and communicate ideas very, very effectively, either in presentation format or in a training mode when you're trying to educate the young. It's a neat way to communicate your ideas very, very effectively. We also feel it's an opportunity to build better products, reach newer markets, and grow a strong business, particularly in Vision Integration's case.
Right.
And this is not going to work. Well, it didn't. But basically, what we view this as is just the next evolution of the PC. Multimedia isn't something revolutionary, it's something evolutionary. It's going to become extremely mainstream. So it's going to be embedded into all types of PCs. Compaq has put in business audio. Toshiba here has the multimedia setups. So there's many of these multimedia data types being embedded now onto the personal computer. And it's just becoming more and more easy to put these systems together.
Right.
So that's basically what multimedia is, in my opinion.
Great. That was a mouthful there. You made her drink some water after that one. I guess, you sort of explained a little bit about some of the questions. I've got a whole list of questions here. But one of the things that I know that I wanted to know is who uses this multimedia? Is it small companies, big companies, individuals, or all of the above?
All of the above. Some of our accounts are major oil and gas companies. commercial and investment banking communities, insurance companies. We're even educating the independent school districts. CD-ROMs like this one, Just Grandma and Me, are a wonderful interactive CD-ROM for children so they can get involved in
That's a great CD.
It is a good CD. Involved in multimedia technology as well. So the users vary from the home PC to high-end businesses. Also, you're going to see broadcast and television stations starting to use multimedia as well. So it's a technology that is evolving across all the different industries and all the different user groups as well.
Oh, okay. Now, the one thing I want to make sure our viewers know that there's a little flutter in that. See the flutter? That's just our monitor a little out of sync. Now, the one monitor
Right.
looks fine, but the other one, when you're Windows, for some reason, we have a little program, but it didn't seem to work quite right with this monitor. But what do you want to talk about next here? What's this?
Well, basically, I'm just showing a simple animation here that talks about the communication continuum and how we've built upon that text and number communication effort by adding audio, images, and video. And it's just part of the way we're going to interact with the computer. On the other system, we have a demo that we wanted to talk about later. It's called the George Bush Presidential Library CD-ROM. This is a CD-ROM that we developed while working at Compaq Computer to present and educate the president on how he could take his presidential library and make it interactive and have all this information online. So basically, those are those two systems. This system is our fun system tonight. We're going to have a little bit of fun showing you how to capture full motion video sequences and play them back real time through the computer.
Now, that's what I was, when the show came on,
Right.
I was actually coming through another video camera to the computer through the camera there. All kinds of fun stuff.
Now, all three of these systems are configured very differently, and they're all built a little differently as well. And so there's many different ways to do multimedia. Most people think you're going to have $80,000 worth of Betacam equipment and all this other stuff to run multimedia. Well, that's not necessarily true. You can buy multimedia upgrade kits like some from Creative Labs
Right.
and MediaVision. That will get you off the ground and running for well under $1,000.
Now, those come with what, like a soundboard and
Those
a
are-
CD-ROM and,
Right.
and some CDs and
Right.
speakers.
It'll
and-
come with a fully loaded system that you can add to an existing 386 or 486 PC. And what this will do is it'll give you the audio board so you can actually start recording narratives and WAV files in the Windows 3.1 environment, as well as giving you many different CD titles such as Microsoft Bookshelf, Compton's Multimedia Encyclopedia. So it starts to give you what I call your multimedia base.
Right.
Then you can start to add authoring packages and other software packages to the kit to build up your multimedia systems.
All right. Now, what do you have here? One of the questions I have is,
What is this?
what is all this stuff here? But I mean, like, what's needed in a typical multimedia setup? But what do we have here? I want to sort of explain what we're running here. There's all these monitors and things and speakers and.
Okay, right now all of these two systems here are set up as what we call our playback systems. They are set up to play back any presentation we would create. The system nearest you, Steve, is the Bush Presidential Library System, and that is set up with
Like Carol Maryland.
your Vanna White. That is set up with a CD-ROM XA drive. XA is an architecture developed by Sony called Extended Architecture,
Right.
and it is a special way to interleave audio and video data. It's set up with that CD-ROM drive and that CD-ROM controller. It is also set up with a 256 graphics card because the images in the Bush Library
Right.
only run at 256 colors. And then it's set up with a set of speakers. And that's all that's in that system,
Other than just a normal computer.
and other than just a normal computer. However, that's not the authoring system we use to create this presentation.
Oh, right. Okay.
The authoring system we used to create that presentation was a high-end 486 computer running TrueVision Targa boards. We had the color scanners, the flatbed
I better
scanner,
write all this down.
as well as the
Lots of
35
memory.
millimeter scanner. We had lots of memory. We had video cameras. We had an audio and
We're going to take a quick break here.
Okay.
Stop, just keep talking. Right? Just keep talking. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Shamu.
And the Texas tuxedos.
Shamu.
We go everywhere he goes. Can help us make a great big splash if we all get rid of roadside trash.
Shamu.
And to all this message reaches.
Shamu.
Don't forget about our beaches. You lend a hand or fin. Come on, let's all pitch in.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Texas.
Shamu.
Hi everybody, Bud Thomas here, one half of the Sunday Night Sports on-air crew, telling you about a little show we've got coming up that we hope you'll tune in for. It's the Sunday Night Sports Telethon, coming up March 21st from noon to 7 hours. Holy cow, you know, we were sitting around deciding what the best way was to find some resources for our second 5 years of covering the best of Houston athletics right here on Sunday Night Sports, and we came up with, guess what, a telethon. So it's going to happen Sunday, March 21st, right here on Access Houston. We hope you'll tune in and bid on the merchandise of these fine sponsors, whom we'd like to thank right now: the Houston Astros, the University of Houston, the Downtown YMCA, Natural Health Centers, the Outback Pub and Restaurant, Muscleworks Therapeutic Massage, Figure World, and our very own Apple Tony. 7 hours on a Sunday afternoon. Holy cow, what more fun could you possibly have other than right here on E1? It's the Sunday Night Sports Telethon, Sunday, March 21st, noon to 7. Be there.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name is Steve Reeves, I'm the host. Tonight our topic is multimedia. It also, I always have to make sure I say this, the phone number, this is a live show, it's March 4th, it's Thursday night, and we'll take callers. We already have some callers on the line, and the phone number is 861-6283. We have two guests tonight, both of them from Vision Integration, I got it right again, Vision Integration in Houston. We have LJ Skibby and Bob Kennan, and they're telling us all about multimedia. We had a little presentation, I'm sorry you missed it, but if everyone that's watching, it's good. There's going to be a test at the end of this on multimedia. We're talking about, we'll send out tests, and there'll be all kinds of pretty easy questions. But I guess we got to keep going. What do you want to talk about? Some things? You want to take the phones, or what do you want to do?
Why don't we answer the caller?
Why don't we just take the phone call? Bill, do you have a question? Bill?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you, Bill. Hello? Bill, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened to Bill. I guess he didn't want to talk to us. Okay, what do you want to show next here?
Well, basically, I wanted to kind of finish talking about the hardware configuration for that unit for the authoring system. Basically, beyond the scanners, you have the capture boards to capture those images, conversion software to convert those images down, authoring software to put the presentation together, audio encoding software to capture it. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes it does take a lot of hardware as well as software to put together CD-ROM systems.
Now, those aren't things that normal people, not that you're abnormal, but that normal people would have in their PC.
That's exactly right. Most people are going to have the playback devices, such as those upgrade
Now, would you do that
kits.
as a service?
Yes, we would install
that's
the
it.
upgrade systems and configure them as well as be able to resell those devices to you.
Oh, okay.
But we also do authoring. We've got, in fact, we're involved in a few projects now that will generate CD-ROMs that people will be able to use in their multimedia machines.
All right. What are some of the prices like? I mean, that PC, we got to talk about, that's the slickest thing I've ever seen. That is a Toshiba.
This is the Toshiba 6400 DXC machine, and it has their multimedia capabilities on it. Now, what's kind of unique about this device is we do have the DVI technology board. DVI stands for Digital Video Interactive. This is an image capture board that will allow me to capture real-time video from a camera or even a laser disc and capture it real-time to the hard disk of the PC, so then I can play it back. So it's kind of a very unique system here.
Oh, it's color?
It's color.
Did you say it was 18-bit?
It's 18-bit TFT panel, so you can get up to 65,000 colors displayable in Windows.
Wow, that's great. And we have speakers hooked up to that too,
We
right?
do
So it
have
has, what does it have, a soundboard? Or is it a soundboard?
It's
or
got a
sound
soundboard and the video capture board capability, and I'm going to go...
both built in?
Both built in. I'm going to go ahead and load a...
I'm going to ask, just for my own curiosity, what does something like that cost? Do you have a closed ballpark figure?
This runs about $10,000.
Is it about 10,000? But it's pretty slick.
It's pretty fully loaded. It has one slot in it, so that is where the DVI card goes. And I'm playing a multimedia DVI application. It's hard to see that, but it's actually running.
Can you hear that speaker there?
I can
Short.
rewind it. It's a short little clip. But it does show you that multimedia is running from the hard disk of the PC. If you start to think about using video, it's going to be great in order to capture a video clip to explain a complex process, attach it to a B-mail, and then ship it off on the network. This is using the DVI compression technology, and it will give you about a 60-to-1 compression.
Oh, okay. Now, that also, like for instance, I just bought Word for Windows, the multimedia. Now, is that something that you could also embed in there also?
Right. That is through the OLE, Object Linking and Embedding, through Microsoft, that allow you to take your Microsoft Word document and embed a WAV file or embed this AVS file from Intel or any
Animations,
AVI
Oh,
animations. So you're going to have these compound documents now that you'll be able to send out. You're going to be able to communicate ideas more effectively through the uses of these technologies.
Now, we're going to show how that real time, that's later in the show. We've got all
We'll do that, show that a
Bill
little
called
later.
back. I guess he really did have a question. You want to take him there? Hold
Sure,
on a
let's
second.
talk to Bill.
Bill, do you have a question?
Yeah, I sure do.
Oh, great.
I've been
Sorry we hung up on you there. I don't know what happened.
Oh, no
You
problem.
can blame it on me. I'll take it.
I've been watching CD-ROM technology for about 2 years now,
Right?
and been trying to talk myself into it. My only real concern at this point is there seems to be several, I hate to call them types, but is there an emerging standard that I can buy into now so I don't end up with the Betamax of CD-ROMs or the 8-tracks of multimedia?
You are absolutely right. That is one of the biggest issues on the front of CD-ROM technology, is that the standards are starting to emerge. There's no clear winner right at this point in time, Bill, but I will say one thing about what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft is creating what you call your standard MPC system, and it will have what you call a default parameter for the CD-ROM drive to fit into, and from there you'll know that will run in any of the Windows MPC environments, and that is a very important consideration for you to think about when you purchase a CD-ROM drive. Companies like MediaVision and Creative Labs do have those compatible ROM drives.
How would Sony fit in that same category?
Sony fits into that category as well. One of the drives we're using for the Bush project is the Sony drive as well.
All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Or thanks. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Bill.
We'll take another call here. Brian, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I've got a technical question tonight.
Great.
Concerning a recent upgrade that I made on my system. I've basically got a 486 50 megahertz system, and I'm running API Graphics Ultra card, and I've recently purchased the Pro Audio Spectrum MPC 16 upgrade kit.
Correct.
Okay, that comes with the card and the CD-ROM and a number of CD discs.
Right.
And some of the discs that I'm running that came with the package, I keep getting a number of general protection faults in Windows 3.1. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. Some of the discs run fine. Some of the others, I keep getting GP faults.
Oh, boy, that I don't know what to say about that question, except
I haven't had that turn on.
I haven't had that. We run the MediaVision Pro Audio Spectrum upgrade kit, the 16 megabyte, the 16-bit kit all the time, and we haven't run into it. I'm going to give you our phone number. Please feel free to call us tomorrow, and we'll try to research that for you.
Okay.
Vision Integration's number is 526-2240. Please feel free to give me a call tomorrow, and we'll see about fixing that for you, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for calling.
I appreciate it.
We have another call. You want to take that?
We'll take that.
John, do you have a question?
Yes, I'm a notebook owner. I just recently bought a 4633 notebook.
No.
Bought of a, well, we'll call it limited expansion capability with an expander box that I have with it suitable for 2 slots. So I'm looking for an external CD-ROM with all the bells and whistles perhaps built in. And interested in how to bring it in. I am curious as to whether the external CD-ROMs come with an internal interface that will be suitable. There was some mention about a separate SCSI to parallel sort of interface that I might have to buy. If you could just kind of tell us about, we'll say maximizing the possibilities for notebook technology, and I'll hang up.
Well, I think probably the simplest way, if he does have an expansion chassis, is to just get what we were talking about, the multimedia upgrade kit from somebody like MediaVision, because it's an external card that has the SCSI interface on it, and then that'll hook into the external CD.
Right.
I mean, there are some SCSI to parallel connections, but those are mostly for external drives like the Bernoulli. And,
right. It's just the thing that goes on the parallel port. Oops.
Right.
It goes on the parallel port, and it just, I think, it does enter serial parallel or serial, and it converts parallel or serial to SCSI, and then you can put that SCSI.
Then you can put the SCSI connection right on there and connect it in. But
they claim it works in all the ads, but I don't know anyone that's using those.
I'd be more inclined to get the board and go ahead and get the sound and start getting those capabilities.
Right, exactly.
And they also make the little sound boards.
The sound ports.
Like they call them audio ports, I think, that you put on the parallel port. It's not as good. The sound isn't as good as a soundboard, but it's an inexpensive way to do it.
But it does get you sound on your notebook PC. If you don't have a slot built into your notebook, you
but
can't
then you don't have a parallel port.
Then you don't have a parallel port, so.
You have to buy one of those little, whatever they call them, splitters or something like that.
Converters.
Switch box.
Yeah, something like that.
So.
All right. Hey, thanks for calling. We have another caller here.
Okay.
TR, do you have a question? Oh,
guess not.
What's wrong line there? My fault. TR, do you have a question?
Yes, I'm relatively new to PC computers, and I have heard 3 different word processor programs are supposed to be the best.
Right.
MePro, WordPerfect for Windows, and Word for Windows. And I would just like to know really which one's the easiest to use for a new user to learn, and why.
All right. All in one breath, you want to answer? Well, I don't know. I use Word for Windows because it's pretty simple to use.
I use Word for Windows too, and now Microsoft has Multimedia Word for Windows, so you're going to get that capability built into your word processing document as well.
Somehow we'd get multimedia into that.
Got that into there. And I've also used a MePro and WordPerfect. I've just kind of stuck with Microsoft Word for Windows at this point in time. I know you use WordPerfect.
Nowadays, they're all pretty much
They're all pretty much
running under Windows.
Right, they're all, if they're Windows program, they all have a lot of tutorials and books available, and there's a lot of people.
And you can import data from one program right into another program, so you do have that capability as well. As far as learning to use it, WordPerfect for Windows and Word for Windows, and they're all very good packages.
One advantage of having a CD-ROM on a system is that there are things available like Works on CD-ROM, and they include vastly expanded tutorials, which is nice for a beginning user.
Right.
Can I ask one more quickie?
Okay, we'll let you do it this time.
Okay.
PageMaker, I'm thinking about going into graphics also, and PageMaker's getting ready to come out with the 5.0 version.
Right.
Right.
It's going to have all the features of the new Quark for PC.
What I've heard from all this is that it's going to have some of those capabilities that were built into Quark into the new version of PageMaker, and they've told me it's going to be the hottest version of PageMaker on the market yet. So we'll just have to wait and see. I haven't seen it yet.
We're all waiting.
We're all waiting.
I've already ordered it.
So I haven't seen it yet. So.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. All right. What do you want to talk about next?
Well, why don't we go ahead and show the
You want to
bush?
do the bush thing? How long? Well, we only have about a minute.
Well,
long
then
does it
why
take?
don't we just talk about something else, and then we'll
Okay,
run
yes.
bush
Well,
when we
as soon
get
as
back.
as soon as we get back, we'll start the bush thing. We have another caller. We might as well take him.
Well, might as well take him.
Brian, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I'm a graduate student, and I am doing a regular number of presentations using Harvard Graphics to make overhead slides, but I would like to do a multimedia presentation. I have the computer for it, but what kind of monitor can I use in a classroom or some kind of presentation area other than my little 15-inch? I can't afford the 21-inch, and that wouldn't be big enough anyway. Is there any way to project your multimedia presentation to a group?
You want to project it to a larger group?
Right.
Have you seen some of the overhead panels? Or you're saying that you can't afford a bigger monitor? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm thinking something like a large screen TV that might be there. Is there any way to interact with a large screen TV?
Yeah, you'd take in...
Most of the larger screen TVs are basically just giant multi-sync monitors. They all have RGB inputs, but
AV compatible.
yeah. And the other alternative though is going with a color LCD panel similar to this that you put on an overhead projector. They tend to be kind of pricey though.
Oh, okay. So I could perhaps get my school to buy into one of those things. That would actually project any overhead projector?
The overhead projector just sits on top of a standard overhead and projects up onto any wall or surface, and it's used quite a bit for large audiences.
All right. Did that answer your question?
It did. Do you have a good idea on which software is the best one to put together for that kind of presentation? Gotcha.
Here we go into making recommendations. It depends on what you're trying to do with your presentation and how much you want to spend. There's packages on the authoring end from Multimedia in PowerPoint, as well as HSC Interactive, Asymmetric Toolbook, Icon Author, and they kind of all go up in varying degrees of prices. It just depends on what you're trying to do.
Again, they should call you tomorrow.
Call us tomorrow at 526-2240.
Okay, great. We're going to take a quick break here, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Some people who start forest fires never even set foot in the forest.
Set a goal to give 5 hours a week and 5% of your income to the causes you care about. The rewards will make you feel like a winner every day of your life.
Want to know how to turn your kid off to school?
Want to really make us not care about learning anything?
Tell me you got to school with no help from your parents, and I'll have to do the same.
When the teacher invites you up for a talk, don't show. Keep on saying girls are no good at math. That'll turn me off.
Face it, when parents don't care, kids don't care. Then they don't learn.
Show me a parent who really cares, and I'll show you a kid who can learn.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. This is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name is Steve Reeves and I'm the host, and our topic tonight is multimedia. That's a mouthful there, multimedia. It is March 4th, Thursday, March 4th. This is a live show and you can call and ask questions. Phone number is 861-6283, and now we're going to get into the juicy part, all right? We've got two guests. We've got L.J. Skibby and Bob Cannon, both from Vision Integration here in Houston. And what are we going to show here now? We're going to start the Bush thing?
We'd like to start the Bush Presidential Library CD-ROM. This is a CD-ROM that we developed in conjunction with Compaq Computer, University of Houston, and Ken Lay with Enron. This is kind of unique because we did present this to President Bush in the White House in 1990. And the technology we used is still present today. It's a technology from Sony called XA. And you will find XA now embedded inside of IBM's multimedia machines as well. Basically, this is a CD-ROM presentation that we presented to the President. It has a presidential database that kind of goes through all of the 1 week in the life of the President and everything that the man did in 1 week. And then we had a little photo gallery here that has images of Houston, U of H, the Presidency, and so on. But what I'd like to do is just run a small little clip from the Presidential Library so that we can see that.
Now this one has sound and everything.
This one has sound.
Oh, it must be. Oh.
In these times of modern technology, education has become a key to our individual success for the future.
Recognize the voice?
A high school education used to be the end of the educational process. Now, it's only a step toward a higher educational goal. Today, we're inundated with more information than we can ever hope to absorb in a lifetime. Modern technology helps us to sort through all this information, and education helps us to use it to improve the quality of life for ourselves and those around us. Imagine using modern technology in an academic campus setting that makes education dynamic and effective. Imagine visiting a scholastic library that, by using computers, stimulates the interest of visitors, and a museum with interactive computerized tools that makes education fun and easy. The University of Houston, with the help of the Houston community, can build a library and museum like this. The George Bush Presidential Library can be the most technologically advanced library in the world, the first of a new generation of libraries that stimulates education in an exciting way. And that's what this proposal is all about, Mr. President. I'm Ron Stone from Channel 2 in Houston.
Sorry to cut you off there, Ron.
Well, that gave you just a real quick overview of what kind of technology we use to present to the President. I have to admit that the President was a little apprehensive about being near the computer, but by the end of the presentation, he was leaning on the keyboard wanting to see it again. This was developed, like I said, in early 1990 when this technology hadn't really even been utilized yet. So we were having a good time with the fact that we could produce this in a very short period of time, under 4 weeks. And this is being still shown today. The Library of Congress has this, as well as the Smithsonian. So the technology is extremely apropos to this date, as well as an extremely effective way to present to the President. Even though he didn't buy off on the library going to the University of Houston, and it did go to A&M, he did buy off on the concept of using multimedia technology for his presidential library.
Great. That's pretty nice. I like that. That's great. I hope he's watching tonight.
Well, we let his office know that we were showing it.
I bet Millie's watching.
Millie always watches.
Okay, good. Well, we got a phone call. Let's take
Okay.
We have Nick. Do you have a question?
Yes, I was curious. This looks very good, but what about cost? Is it very expensive? Can a regular PC user get involved with this, and they'll need something better than a 386? Or the notebooks and the smaller computers seem to always run on a 386 SL or a 386 type of chip. Are they capable of running multimedia too?
They can run some limited pieces of multimedia. If you're going to do a lot with any pieces of video and higher-end animations, you're going to want to run on a 486 computer. As far as expense goes, you have to figure out what it is you're trying to do and what type of application you're trying to build. If you want a full-blown system like that one, we're going to talk about $20,000 to $25,000 on including the PC for all of the target capture boards, the scanner system, and all the way to input your images. If you're going to just do some simple animations, you're not going to have as much equipment. If you just want to have some audio and some nice graphics, the cost goes down. So you have to think about what is your end result and what medium you want to present on. If it's just the computer, like a notebook like this Toshiba, then you've got to build it up from there. I've put together systems for clients that range from $5,000 up to $105,000. So it really depends on what you're trying to do, and we can help you out with some of those questions.
Would this include the board for converting it to a TV also, and does that require cable, or can a regular antenna be used?
Are you talking about taking in a TV input?
Yes.
Okay, there are boards out on the market, like New Media Graphics has a Watch It TV board that will let you take in a cable feed, and you can literally, via software, change channels and watch TV right on your computer within your Windows environment. That board, SRPs, I believe, for like $4.99, so that's not a very expensive board.
I've seen it, I think, for like as low as like $3.49.
Exactly.
And you can actually be watching TV while you're doing work.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or whatever you want to call it.
You take a little
It runs on software that will do that, that will split.
It has image capture software that comes
Correct.
with it.
That way, if you have an image that you've seen on the TV that you want to capture, or if you're running a VCR tape, you'll be able to capture that as a still frame and turn it into a BMP image, PCX, GIF, and there's many different file formats so you'll be able to convert that image into.
Well, thank you. You've answered all my questions.
Great, thanks
Well, thank
for
you,
calling.
Nick.
We have another caller here. Jim, do you have a question?
Yes. I wanted to know the equipment that's required. Is it easy to find out how and what pieces of equipment you need? Most of us out here, for instance, I use DOS. I suspect most of this equipment requires Windows. Am I correct?
Pretty much.
You're pretty much correct on that. There are some applications that run in the DOS environment, but all of the development effort is being done inside of Windows. So if you want to get into multimedia, it would be most recommended to get inside of the Windows environment.
Can you then import these images to word processing documents or what?
Absolutely. See, that's what's so unique about the Windows environment and the world of Olay. Once you have these images, you can then just import them or place them inside of your Microsoft Word document, your desktop publishing software, and even into your Excel spreadsheet. So it gives you that ability to import that data once you're inside that Windows environment.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I do want to mention another couple of things. Is I brought a bunch of books because I love books, because I'm a nerd. I buy anything that's fun, you know. I bet I can see this on here. I'll hold it up like this. There's all kinds of books that you can buy to learn about multimedia. And this is I learned a lot about it. I mean, I've just recently got into all kinds of soundboards and things. My wife can't figure out why I've been a nerd as long as I have, and I finally got a soundboard. Now I don't know how I ever lived without one. But there's Multimedia Madness, and all these come with, some of them come with, this one comes with a CD and a disc, and it's got all kinds of great things on it. That's Multimedia. I bought all these at Bookstop. This is the newest one I bought. Can you see that? I don't want to make it too reflective. The Guide to Multimedia. And these are all current. I think this one, I'm positive, was made in 1993. These are all real current, so they're up to date. And they have, like, in the back, examples of different boards you might want to buy, and I'll just even explain speakers and what to look for. And then there's another one called Welcome to Multimedia. I hope you guys are writing these down.
Perhaps I could ask one more quick question.
Okay, sure. Yeah, one more question.
Okay. I'm running a 386 DX33 with 250 megabytes on the drive.
All right.
Is that a system that is reasonable to start looking at multimedia?
Absolutely. That sounds like a good basic system. And you can certainly build a lot up onto that system with your standard components at this point in time. One of the things I do also want to mention about vision integration is starting in mid-May, might even be a little earlier than that, we're going to be doing a lot of training classes on multimedia. So we're going to be giving classes on Autodesk Animator, Multimedia, the basics, talking about how to do this. We're even going to get classes on how to author your own presentations. So if you need information about that, you can definitely give us a call and let us know about signing you up for a training class.
Very good. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for calling. You want to start showing this
sure.
video thing here?
What I want.
That's what it's called, isn't it? Video thing?
It's a little video thing.
Video thing over there. What is it you're going to show here?
Okay, what I've got here is MediaShare has put together a board called the Mambo board, and the Mambo board is a DVI board, Digital Video Interactive. DVI technology was developed by Intel Corporation, and what's so unique about this board is that it's an image capture board. So I've got you filmed, and I'm going to start capturing you in a second, and then you're going to start bouncing on the screen, right? Go. Start moving, start moving. Okay. As you can see, I'm capturing Steve real time in all his glory. Okay, I've stopped now. And then I can actually... You can keep going. You can actually save this off now to the hard disk. So I'm saving that off.
Now we have this connected, they're connected to a video camera.
Right, I'm connected to a standard camcorder, and through the connections of all these cables I hold in my hands, I can then capture from the camera or anything else. I'm going to now load up that file I just created, which is called Steve.
Now what is this Mambo? This is a software or hardware?
This is a hardware board that sits inside the PC.
So this has a slot in there. So
there's a slot inside this Toshiba. Right. Now you see Steve is coming back real time on the computer.
That's my Nixon impression.
There was your Nixon. And then I can rewind it. Now I can take this video clip and put it into Word. I can put it into Excel. I can play it back. I can capture audio as well, so I can do many different things with the DVI technology.
Doing it again, I kind of like that.
Okay, one more time for Steve's sake.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, but you can see that this technology does lend a lot of capability. It does take up a lot of room. This file is probably right around, it was a couple of seconds, probably around 10 megabytes of data.
10 megabytes?
10 megabytes, and that's a compressed file.
Oh.
So, and that's using the compression technology called RTV, or real-time video, which gives you about a 60-to-1 compression technology.
Okay. Now, what is something like the Mambo card run?
The Mambo card, I believe, runs for about $12.95. But the capture card, it's a little daughter card that sits on top of it, retails for about $500, $535.
All right, and it's just connected through some...
It's connected into the slot in the PC, and then it has this little cable that comes out the side.
You usually don't hold it in your lap.
I don't normally hold it in my lap, and it has many different audio, video connections. I have this one hooked up to my camcorder, standard VHS camcorder. It will also take in S-Video, NTSC, and PAL. So you can do an awful lot with this little device right here. You can then capture these clips and then use them in presentations, authoring packages, and have a very effective presentation tool. So
that's great.
That's what
we
we're doing.
have some more callers here.
Okay.
Bruce, do you have a question?
Looking for capturing a frame grabber board. 24 bits that'll capture real time, and didn't want to spend a fortune.
All right. Can you hear what he said?
Are you looking for a
24-bit capture board that doesn't cost a fortune?
That doesn't cost a fortune.
Is there such a thing?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. You should have been at our users group 2 months ago, right? Cardinal Technologies has a new board on the market called the Snap Plus, and that board it wasn't that much. It was several $100s. It was $7.99 retail, but it has a 24-bit VGA graphics controller on the board, plus it has all the image capture capabilities, so you can actually capture image clips.
There's new stuff coming out all the time. The price of this is...
Familiar with the Video Blaster?
The Video Blaster is another, but that doesn't have the onboard 24-bit VGA.
It's
you
a
would have to.
VGA thing.
It's just a standard VGA card. You can have the Video Blaster and then have another VGA card in there running your system at a higher 24-bit level.
Do you know if the Video Blaster will capture a 24-bit image?
It will capture what I call AVI files, Microsoft Audio Video Interleave files, which is video for Windows. It isn't going to capture at the rate like this Intel board is capturing at, so you might want to think about what you're going to use these clips for, and then there's a wide variety of boards. The Video Blaster is a good board. We use that. We have the Cardinal board. We use the TrueVision Targa board as well as the Intel board. So There's many different boards out there. It just depends on the quality you want, the size of the image, and what you're trying to use these images for. So you have to ask yourself those questions first.
All right.
Most of the systems have a compression built into them, or is that something that
Yes, some of these
you
boards...
have to, get on the higher price units?
I'm having a hard time hearing.
Yeah, we're having a hard time hearing you here.
Okay, I was asking if the compression utility was built on the board, or is that done by software? And
Either way.
Cheaper units, do they offer that compression as well?
When you author, you're going to have your hardware compression board in there, and then a lot of times you have a software decompression module that you use to play the image back at. But it's at a slightly reduced rate. So, like the board I have inside the Toshiba is the Mambo board, and it is playing it back in hardware decompression. So it's not just using software, it's using a hardware assist. That way you get the better quality and the better sound as well.
Is there a big difference between the 30th of a second and a 60th of a second as far as?
Is there a big difference between a 30th of a second and a 16th of a second? I mean, a 60th of a second? I'd say about half.
30 frames per second is traditional animation real time, so anything less than that, you're going to see some jerkiness in there.
Right.
Jerkiness? You talking about my video? Oh.
You're not going to see any smooth movement with anything less than 30 frames a second, because 30 frames is what video runs at.
All right. Does that answer your questions?
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. We're going to have to take a quick break here. We'll come back for a small segment and wrap it up, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Business software serving the business and academic communities. Call PC People at 789-6300 and talk to our dedicated staff when you're looking for intelligent answers to your software needs. And by Total CAD Systems, specializing in the sales, service, and support of CAD software and hardware for the PC, Macintosh, and Sun. Total CAD Systems is an authorized dealer for AutoCAD, the leader in computer-aided design software. Call 721-CADD. And by Arc Image, creators of award-winning computer graphics and animation. For advertising, illustration, presentation, and communications, Arc Image can show you a better way to tell your story.
There are countries where bread is scarce, but this is America. Countries where electricity is rare, but this is America. Countries where infant mortality is a problem, but this is America. Here it's a crisis. Every 13 minutes, another infant dies. But we can help prevent many of those deaths with prenatal care from programs like Healthy Start. Find out what you can do. Why? Because this is America.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, I'm sorry you missed a great show. But we were showing all kinds of things on Multimedia. This is the American Computer Enthusiast Show, and my name is Steve Reeves. And we've only got about a 3-minute segment left, so we're going to have to talk real fast. Everyone says I talk too fast, but we're going to talk fast now. I think we have time for one call. I'm sorry we didn't get to get everybody in, but there's just too many phone calls. We've got too many different things to show. But we do have LJ Skibby and Bob Kennan from Vision Integration here in Houston, and we'll take a caller real fast.
Okay.
We have Fred. Do you have a question?
Yeah, sure do. Just real quick.
Great. Talk real fast.
Market application that I want to develop that has permit requirements. We need to be able to take a video source input, like a VCR, in real time to be able to watch it on the screen. And as it plays, I want to be able to select video clips, then output it to a selected VCR. Say I have another bank of two VCRs, and I want to be able to output a clip.
to one of those VCRs as it plays. Is there anything that's available that can do that?
Yeah, but it's not something we could go through that quick. That he would need to call us on that.
Would you mind giving us a call tomorrow?
Yeah.
Apparently it's a little complicated.
It's a very complicated procedure,
but it can be done.
Well, we have, one thing I want to mention too is we have a users group. If you're really into the authoring and you know, really pretty much heavier into this kind of stuff, we have a users group of artists and animators that meets on the third Wednesday of every month at Panhandle Easterns. So
third Wednesday of each month?
Right.
Panhandle Easterns,
and you can call us. No, you can just call us for information on that users group. The number
That'd be great.
The number is 526-2240. So and call us tomorrow so we can talk to you about your question. Okay?
Yeah, I'll be sure to do that.
Thanks. We appreciate that.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I think what we got to do is, do you want to turn that to that camera over there?
This camera?
This is kind of a live TV here.
Live TV.
Don't worry, everybody, everything's fine. Okay. Don't spill the water. Need any more water?
No.
It's too late. I guess what we got to talk about for the next couple of minutes, or next minute, is where this is all going, what's happening, and what we have forward. You know, what we look forward to.
Well, one of the things I think that you're going to see in 1993 and the next couple of years is multimedia is going to become more and more mainstream. And you're going to see a lot more of the computer manufacturers embedding this type of technology onto the motherboards and building this capability right into the PC. Don't be surprised when you see a monitor with a video camera built into it, as well as speakers hanging off the side of it. But the technology is evolving. Another thing that you need to think about is there are standards committees out there that are looking at addressing some of the issues that were raised tonight about standards in the industry. And associations like the IMA, Interactive Multimedia Association, as well as ANSI, are looking at ways to make this compatible so it doesn't get too far off kilter. But these associations exist, we're a part of them, and we're helping educate people on the standards that are out there and try to promote that, as well as what Microsoft is doing with the standards.
All right, that's great. Now, the one thing I do want to say is we just touched the surface on multimedia.
Just the surface.
We had a lot of questions, a lot of people that called in. We're going to have you on again and show all kinds, even more bells and whistles and more things. And that we had just a small
glitch, just a glitch.
We had lots of things to show. I'm glad we had a lot of things to show. And what is this? You made
this is a little something. This is a little something for you, Steve. We decided to do a quick animation on your logo for American Computer Enthusiasts, and we want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to be on your show tonight.
Well, thanks both of you for being on the show. And we're going to have to wrap it up here. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.